welcome to 2020. I'm Ave. This is probably my first YouTube video that I've been posting since like 2009, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to talk about 2019, do a little review, and then talk about my 2020 goals as an artist business person. So first, let's do a quick recap of my little business. I started my business in 2015. I've been working on it part-time, selling pottery here and there, mostly at markets in person. I've always had an online store, but didn't really push it, you know what I mean? Fast forward to 2017 into 2018, I was a part-time art teacher. I did art on a cart for pre-K through 4th grade, and the kids were great, but I knew that teaching in that setting, not for me. All you teachers out there, I applaud you, because it's hard dealing with all the other things other than the teaching. So I was planning on quitting, but the district actually laid off all of the part-time staff. So they did the awkward work for me, and I did not return to that job. But I instead found another very part-time job working at a small DIY craft studio. I'll shout it out. Go ahead, Craftivate. I'll link it down below because I still work there. But I was really only working there maybe 4 to 10 hours a week. So it was enough to pay some of my bills, but definitely not all of them. So I was ready to ramp up my own personal business. So 2019 was really cool. At the beginning of the year, I mostly made the Dungeons and Dragons mugs. They look kind of like this. They have since gone through some revisions, but I still like them. I love them. And I've been doing like alignments, or they'll say Dungeon Master. I have some other ideas. But this right here is what helped me get through January through April, maybe. Making these custom for people in the colors and the sayings that they want. Yay! Come May, I had a bunch of shows, in-person shows with my tent. So I have a 10 by 10 tent that I set up. Hopefully I'll be able to do a video about that. But May was great in terms of shows. And then I did a release of cloud mugs. One of them I still have. Actually, 2 of them I still have. I have 2 different ones. One of them has these characters, like my little blob characters. And then I was doing like sunrise and sunsets. And then one was an entire rainbow gradient sky with an iridescent finish over the clouds. And then that was my first mug pre-order thing to sell out. And I kept one. I'm gonna go grab it. Hold on. I'm gonna go grab it. So, this mug here, I want to remake again because it's adorable and I love it so much. Moose! Anyways. So this is the first mug that I made that I've experienced a sort of like Instagram, I don't want to say fame, but it was very popular on the gram, and I was able to do a very small pre-order of these, and the amount that I was willing to do was about, I think it was 15 mugs, because doing this gradient takes a very long time, and it's not something that I want to do a whole lot. At least not all at once. So that was the first time that I've ever actually like sold out of something, was this guy right here. And it's so pretty, like a little rainbowy iridescence on the clouds. And so this is like a very special mug design for me, because like I would make one-offs here and there, and some of them would sell out super quick, some of them didn't, which is fine. So this was June. June was all about this rainbow, and how fitting, because it was Pride Month. And I was actually in New York City Pride when I decided that actually I can do this from my phone. I will set up a pre-order of this guy, and I was just surprised that entire weekend, so that was really fun. Yay, Pride. You can hear my dog grumbling, probably. We'll see. He's sitting underneath my desk, grumbling at everything that happens. Anyways, so then July and August, I worked more hours at the craft studio because we were running a camp. And I worked more than was originally intended because of circumstances. But I also used July and August to ramp up my production in order to get ready for, first and foremost, the Renaissance Fair, which I'll get to, and then holiday stock, because I do a lot of shows in November and December. This season I did, I think, 9 shows, maybe 10, between November and December. So I had signed up to do a Renaissance Fair, and this was like one of my goals, was to do something. Originally the goal was to do a convention, but I felt like a Renaissance Fair kind of fits in terms of doing something that's a lot bigger than I'm used to and more niche towards all my nerd homies. So I did a Renaissance Fair, and I made mostly the dice mugs. I even upped the size to a stein. Like, look at this big boy compared to my normal size. So I did the Renaissance Fair, and that was so much fun. I have never experienced anything like it. I mean, I've been to a Renaissance Fair once, but I had to set up my booth and dress as if I was of the time period in the scene. And in case you don't know, I love Dungeons and Dragons, so this was really hecking fun for me, and it was very profitable too. And it was great not having to fully explain what chaotic good means or what a dungeon master is, because the crowd who goes to Renaissance Fair, even if they don't play or if they're into LARPing or any other tabletop gaming, they already knew kind of what was up. So I made some specific stuff for the Renaissance Fair with like dragons and dragon scales, but then I also did a whole lot of what I call my dice mugs, and it was awesome. And so I signed up to do the entire fair next year, which is this year, which is this September. But that was September. And then October, I did 2 big oddities events. So like super weird stuff, but like if you saw my Halloween collection, it was in that vein. Because I was really into the zombie mugs that I did, and I did some beholders, which if you play Dungeons and Dragons, it's a monster with lots of eyeballs at the end of tentacles, and they look really cool, and they can be really gross, or you can make it super cute like I did, because I want to make everything look cute. But yeah, so those were super fun, and it was a crowd that really loved and appreciated handmade and understood artistry and time, and I loved it. So it was really great. And then November, the first thing I did was a thing I do every year, which is New Haven citywide open studios. That one, it's always a good event to see what's happening around the community area. And then it was just holiday shows. Like I had 1 or 2 pretty much every weekend between November 15th through my last show was December 21st. So yeah, it was a lot of shows. And while I was doing that, I also had pre-orders of dice mugs because a lot of people were asking, can I get a custom mug? Can I order one? Because originally I was only doing them custom just to make sure that I got the right colors and the right words that people actually wanted. And it was a lot to juggle. I got sick for 2 weeks with strep throat right after or right before Thanksgiving. So that totally threw off my production schedule, which meant a lot of late nights, a lot of last minute firings, and it stunk. And I was all out of the stock that I had built up over the summer, which is a good problem to have, I guess. But now I have a better understanding of how much product I need to make for the holiday season, and I think I'm gonna base it more off of how much do I want to make during that time financially versus how much just can I do on this very unsustainable and unhealthy schedule that I gave myself. So then by December 21st, I became a potato, and I pretty much just like flopped, and it was just like a vegetable almost all week, except I had, it's the holidays, so I had my own holiday party and all these other holiday parties to go to, and they were kind of like a great release after a very stressful holiday season of stress that I put onto myself. But that was my 2019, and it was a really good year. Overall, it was great for my business, and yeah.